Hello, this is your favorite overweight jockey Pupu Noob, and today I'll be reviewing a game called Pocket Card Jockey. It is an exclusive for the 3DS eShop, so it's digital only, and it is a game made by Game Freak, and it's really cheap. It's only $7, and it combines horse racing with solitaire. Yes, yes. It combines horse racing with solitaire, and it sounds weird, but don't let the quirky combination of mechanics and the cutesy art style fool you. It is a pretty challenging game, and I will consider it a hidden gem, as well as it's probably the best 3DS game that you haven't played yet. So really, it's freaking amazing. So basically, you play solitaire, you play the solitaire game, you try to do the best you can, or play a perfect game. You collect energy so that your horse has enough energy to race to the finish line. That's basically it. It sounds simple. It is. The mechanic is pretty simple, but there's a lot of strategy. Surprisingly, there's a lot of strategy involved. So each race starts with a section called Start. Actually, you try to get rid of very limited cards in a very short time to choose a start card. The best start card gives you the most energy, but if you take too much time to choose a start card, you will then start off at a very disadvantageous position, because there's a lot of things going to winning a race. So you have to play very good solitaire games. You have to have a good horse, because there's leveling up, so there are stats for your horse as well as skills. You also have to take note of positioning your horse. So there's a lot of strategy, which I think is a very surprising mix. You look at this game and it looks pretty simple, but it's pretty challenging, and a lot of that is because you need to keep in mind so many things just to win a race. So you also have to choose when to boost during your home stretch. The home stretch is the final part of the race. That is where you have to choose either to boost or not to boost, when to boost, because you do have a limited amount of boosts depending on how much stamina you have left. So the solitaire part comes in at a few intervals during the race. So depending on how long the race, how many games of solitaire you have to play. The longer the race, the more solitaire games you have to play. So you have to, in the solitaire game as well, there's some strategy. You have to choose the proper cards, so that you can chain a longer combo. And there's also a time limit. Yes. So you playing perfect solitaire games will then improve the mood of your horse or not reduce the mood of your horse, as well as keep your stamina up. So if you play a perfect game, your stamina doesn't go down at all. So it's really important to play a perfect game of solitaire, which is quite difficult to do. Now the positioning part comes in because after each solitaire game, you can choose to use the energy that you gain through the solitaire game either to put it into your reserve for the home stretch, or to use it to move your horse. So positioning is important because there are power-ups around the racetrack, and to get those power-ups, you sometimes have to use the energy that you collected, as well as there are parts of the racetrack where your horse is more advantageous. Basically, most of the time it's in the middle of the racetrack, and that is where you gain the most energy. While the others are not as much energy, right? So positioning is also very important. Your horse also levels up and also gets skills. To level up and to get skills, you have to pick up power-ups. And the power-ups are not directly rewarded to you. Those power-ups are in the form of cards. And in the next solitaire game, you have to clear those cards to gain those power-ups. So there are experience power-ups, there are skill power-ups, as well as a speed booster for the home stretch kind of power-ups. So depending on how much stamina you have and how much of that stamina is left after the game. So stamina will go into your experience points, the boost will go into your experience points, and the experience cards that you pick up will also go into experience points. The skill cards will go into your skill level. Once it reaches once it fills up the bar, you'll get skill number 1, and once it fills up the second bar, you'll get skill number 2. Each horse will only get 2 skills. The breeding part of the game, yes, there is breeding, so there is probably the only way to get good horses. It's definitely the only way to get good horses. So you have to finish a few races, choose your best horses, and breed them. There's also a few things to keep in mind, like what kind of stats do you want, what kind of skills do you want, and to get good horses, breeding is pretty much the only way. The good thing about it though is your horses all come with its own QR code, and you can share that online, and you can also get a few pretty good horses on some of the online forums like Reddit. There's also like a Tumblr page that has a couple of good horses with the QR codes. There's also inbreeding. That's also a thing. And if you breed an inbred, I guess, you basically breed a horse that starts off with a very bad mood. And that's not good, because horses that reaches all the way will be considered a runaway horse. It doesn't listen to you, it will just keep running forwards, it will lose all the stamina, and it's really, really bad. It sucks. That's it. I lost so many games because I couldn't finish my solitaire games. I left too many cards, and the cards that you leave on the table or on the racetrack will decrease the mood of the horse. And I lost so many games because of that, because my horse became very bad, got into a very bad mood, became a runaway horse, and just fucked up my whole game. Like, one solitaire game can fuck you up. So the game is very challenging. And once you're done playing a horse in growth mode is where you choose a new horse, you race with the horse for a couple of years, and then you try to level him up as much as you can. That horse will then go into mature mode. Mature mode is basically the same thing, but you can't level up and you can't get new skills. So everything you have to get through growth mode. So it's very important to focus on growing during growth mode pretty much, and try to win as much as you can during mature mode, because eventually the horse will retire and go to your farm to be used as a breeding horse, basically. There's also a shop. The shop will sell more power-ups. The power-ups can be quite expensive, and the only way to make money is to win races. So the game is pretty challenging, but I like it. I like it a lot. However, the challenge can sometimes be a bit too much, because sometimes you can do everything right and still lose, because maybe your horse is under level. Sometimes you go up against really powerful horses, or you're trapped in the middle of the pack, because during like the home stretch you can actually guide your horse without the use of energy. And sometimes you start off in the middle of the pack and everybody is running like slower than you, and you just can't have enough space to break free. So that's really annoying. So positioning, like I said, is also very important. So many things can fuck you up, but when you win a race, it feels very satisfying. When you play a perfect solitaire game, it feels very satisfying. It's an overall amazing, unbelievably addictive game. It's one of the most addictive games I've ever played. So overall, Pocket Card Jockey is a very unique game, combining very simple mechanics, quick thinking from the player, and very satisfying gameplay. And it's also accompanied by really amazing music. I'm super surprised at the music. The music is really good. So I cannot recommend this game enough. You have to play it. You have to play it. If you have a 3DS, just go and get it. It is $7. It's only $7 on the eShop. And I can guarantee you it is the best 3DS game that you haven't played yet. So go out there and get Pocket Card Jockey. It's such an amazing game. And thank you very much for watching and listening to my review of Pocket Card Jockey. Let me know in the comments below, was I able to convince you to get Pocket Card Jockey? Or have you already played Pocket Card Jockey? Do you like it? Do you not like it? That is all. If you like this review, do subscribe, comment, and like this video. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.